Hi everyone, welcome back to class 3 of our software testing course. In previous class, we learned about the software development lifecycle, also known as STLC. We saw how software is planned, designed, developed, tested, deployed, and maintained. Today we'll focus specifically on the testing part by learning the software testing lifecycle. So our today's agenda is what is STLC, why STLC, STLC phases, real-time example. We'll see some interview questions. So by the end of this lesson, you will understand how software tester works in a real company. So we'll also look in the some real world examples. Now let's understand what is STLC means. STLC stands for Software Testing Lifecycle. It is a structured process that tester follows to make sure the application is tested thoroughly before releasing it to the customer. Think of a checklist of a testing team. Instead of testing the randomly the application, tester follows the series of the planned activities. So these are the 7 major phases of STLC. Requirement analysis, test planning, test case development, then environment setup, test execution, defect report, finally the test closure. So we will understand each phase of the STLC one by one. So the first phase is the requirement analysis. Testers read the business requirement. The goal is to understand what needs to be tested. Suppose, for example, we are building the login page of the Naukri. So login page means we should have the username, password, then login button. So the tester understands this requirement before writing the any test cases. So once the requirement analysis is done, the phase 2 is the test planning. So now test lead prepares the test plan. Who will test, how many testers are required, what are the timelines, what are the testing tools we can use to test, what are the risks. So this is similar to the planning a trip before you starting the traveling. For example, if you are planning for a trip, so we will plan like what time we should start, what time we should reach, or when we should do the activities, what time we should come back. So it's kind of the planned trip. That is called as the test planning. Once after the test planning is done, phase 3 is the test case development. Now testers will write the test cases. So for the test case development, we'll discuss on the real-time example. So I will take the Naukri login page. So now we'll start testing on the Naukri login page. In this login page, you can able to see the username, password, the login button. So for example, user enter the correct username. User is entering the username. And user enters the password. When user is clicking on the login page, it should navigate to the Naukri homepage. So this is a positive scenario. It's a test case number 1. The test case number 2, user enters the valid username. And user will leave it as a blank password. When you click on the login button, it should throw error as password cannot be left blank. So password field it is throwing the error. So this is a test case number 2. The third test case is, so user will leave username as a blank, user will enter the password. And user click on the login button, it should throw the error, email ID or username cannot be left as a blank. So this is expected because user did not enter the username. When you click on the login button, it will throw the error. So this is a test case number 3. This is how testers will write the test cases in the real projects. So this is called as a test case development. Once the test case development is done, we'll move on to the phase 3 is environment setup. So before testing begins, the environment must be ready. Application is deployed, database is configured, browser should be available, test account should be created. Once the environment setup is done, we'll move on to the phase 5 that's called as a test execution. Now testers will execute every test case. Here they will analyze what are the test cases we executed, how many test cases are passed, how many test cases are failed, what is the pass percentage, what is the fail percentage. So once the test execution is done, we'll move on to the phase 6. It's called as a defect tracking. Defect reporting. So whenever tests find the problem, they will report it. So in the previous phase, we executed the test cases. If any test case failed, testers will analyze why the test is failed. If it is failed due to the bug, we should report the bug in the organized manner. When you're reporting the bug, we have some steps to follow. That bug ID should mention summary, what are the steps, what is the expected, what is the actual, what is the severity, and what is the priority. So based on the severity priority, developer will fix these bugs. So once the defect tracking is done, we'll move on to the phase 7 is called as a test closure. So in test closure, testing should be completed, reports, lesson learned, project closure. All the testing is completed and all the critical bugs are fixed. The testing team should prepare the final report. So this is how testing happens in the real software company. Every tester should follow this process. Requirement, then planning, test cases, then test execution, reporting the bugs, fixing the developer, retest, and then the release. So in every company, every company must follow this kind of the process. Then only they can able to build the real project and the quality project. They can build the software without any bugs. So now we have the small interview question. If an interviewer asks what is STLC? STLC stands for Software Testing Lifecycle. It is a technique of activities performed by testers to ensure the software quality. It includes the requirement analysis, test planning, test case, development, environment setup, test execution, defect reporting, and the test closure. And also we have a small quiz question. Which phase comes after test planning? Requirement analysis, test case development, test closure, deployment. Please comment the correct answer. So in the next class, we learn about the software development models such as a waterfall, agile, and V&V model. These models explain how teams organize software development projects.